Have you ever wondered what you'd find if you collected all of your random thoughts, late-night ideas, and yeah, even your worst jokes for years? Well, today we're diving into exactly that. We're exploring one person's digital scrapbook, a 5-year collection of notes jotted down in the margins of life. I just love this. It's the perfect way to start, isn't it? This isn't about someone claiming to have all the answers. It's about being in that perfect, sweet spot of curiosity, where you know enough to keep asking questions, but not so much that you stop listening. So what we're really looking at here is a journey of discovery. Think about it. For 5 years, this person was just capturing things, fleeting thoughts, quotes they overheard, sudden moments of inspiration. And we get to sift through this digital treasure chest to see what kind of wisdom pops out. And this, right here, really gets to the heart of the whole thing. It's not about some fancy, expensive software or a super complex system. The magic is just in the simple, consistent act of paying attention and writing it down. The real power is in the habit, not the tool. Okay, so our first stop on this journey is life, love, and laughter. Yeah, we're jumping right into the big stuff because these notes give us a little window into some of the most personal and profound parts of just being human.
Wow, this one is really powerful. It's so much more than just simple relationship advice. It's about the legacy our actions create. It shows how the way we treat our partners literally becomes the blueprint for our children's future relationships. What a reminder that we're always teaching, even when we don't think we are.
And oh man, if you're a parent, this one probably hits very close to home. It just perfectly captures that beautiful, exhausting contradiction, doesn't it? You're desperate for 5 minutes apiece, but at the exact same time, you're terrified you might miss one single precious moment. That is the emotional tug-of-war of parenthood in a nutshell. You know, all these reflections on family and relationships, they naturally lead to an even bigger question that the author was thinking about. What exactly is happiness? Well, this scrapbook has a few interesting clues. Now, this is a really interesting distinction. Happiness, he says, is usually conditional. It's tied to something. I'm happy because I got the promotion. But joy? Joy is different. It's spontaneous. It just is. It's that pure, unprompted feeling of delight or curiosity that pops up for no reason at all.
Here's a simple but honestly a really profound formula for contentment. It suggests our satisfaction isn't just determined by what happens to us, but by how reality stacks up against what we expected to happen. Which means one of the most powerful things we can do for a good life is to learn how to manage our own expectations.
The scrapbook is also full of these little rules for living. Some are incredibly challenging, like the idea that true empathy requires you to completely suspend your own ego. Others are just plain practical, like be nice to your future self. But this one, don't live a year 75 times and call it a life. Oof, that's a powerful call to action to keep growing.
All right, let's switch gears a bit. We've talked about the personal stuff, so now let's see what wisdom we can find from the daily grind of the modern workplace.
This is such a great, concise definition. It clears up so much confusion. Managers are great at optimizing what's already there. They handle the known. But leaders are the ones who guide their teams through uncertainty, into new and uncharted territory. They manage the unknown.
This just screams growth mindset. The goal isn't to be the expert, the one with all the answers. The goal is to put yourself in an environment that constantly challenges you. It's about valuing learning way more than your own ego, and knowing that the best growth happens when you're around people who can teach you something.
Now this is a super practical tool that any of us can use, the 10-10-10 rule. When you're stressed about a problem or a decision, just ask yourself these 3 questions. It forces you to zoom out and get some perspective. You pretty quickly realize that most of the daily fires we put out are completely forgotten in 10 months, let alone 10 years. This is a serious gut check on what professional freedom really means. True autonomy isn't about your job title. It's about having real agency. If you feel trapped, if walking away just isn't a real option for you, then you're not in control of your career. The job is in control of you.
Okay, after all that serious talk about life and work, it is definitely time for a palate cleanser. Pulled directly from the author's notes, please prepare yourselves for the Dad Joke Files.
We're starting with an absolute classic. Simple, predictable, a first ballot entry into the Dad Joke Hall of Fame.
Here's one for the digital age. A quick, witty little pun that combines modern tech with a classic bait and switch.
Okay, this one has layers. It's a fun fact wrapped inside a clever pun. It takes a little bit of pop culture knowledge to stick the landing, which elevates it to a truly sophisticated level of dad humor.
And we'll end the jokes here. Short, sweet, and scientifically questionable. It's the perfect groan-worthy pun to lead us into our final and most philosophical section.
So we go from simple human humor to a deeply modern and kind of complicated question. What does it actually mean to be human in the age of artificial intelligence?
What's so fascinating here is you can actually watch the author's perspective on AI evolve in real time. It starts with this confident challenge, then shifts to a protective plea for his humor, then gives way to genuine surprise, curiosity, and finally, a more urgent plea to protect his very sense of self. It's a journey of awe and anxiety that a lot of us are probably on right now.
This quote just zooms all the way out. It speaks to the central paradox of our time. We have this incredible technological power. We can do almost anything, and yet we seem to grapple with this fundamental confusion about our own purpose. It feels like we have the how, but we're losing our grip on the why.
And all this brings us to the final, really provocative question this scrapbook leaves us with. If AI can learn our humor and even our creativity, what's left? What is that irreplaceable core of being human? That is definitely something to think about.